What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I actually wanted to make a video because we just put out a hiring post and actually ended up hiring 3 new staff members, which is super dope. And because of that, and especially the hiring post, I got a lot of my messages flooded with how do I get a job at Barbell, what should I say, what should I do, and a lot of other questions. And I've been getting this question a lot, is how I actually got my job at Barbell Brigade. And for me, it's actually a pretty interesting story, and I feel like this also applies to a lot of the other people I ended up working for or working with, and just how I got into other positions that I have while moving to LA. And also just thought it was a cool story that I thought I should share with you guys. And I have told this story a few other times, whether it was on like a podcast or vlog style format, but I think actually on the Barbell channel I haven't actually spoken about it. And I also want to open this up to the other staff members to share their experience, but also it's cool for you guys to understand how this came to be, because for me it was a long story. And if any of you guys have been following Barbell from the beginning, a lot of you guys probably came from the JK film side. Some people that follow just for the fitness don't even know that Bar Geo came from the comedy side of YouTube, not just the fitness side. So they're doing comedy sketches, JK News, JK Films, a lot of different stuff on their other channels, and that's where they kind of got their main following. And that's actually where I found them from. So I found them when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and this was almost basically 14 years ago, and I've been fans of theirs since then basically. And I kept up to date with all the stuff that they're doing, and also with just my passions of fitness. I kind of grew up watching Bart on his fitness journey, so I used to do a lot of his workouts, I used to follow a lot of his programming and just like his advice that he would give on his channel, because it also felt like a bro just telling it is how it is, you know? Like, it wasn't like this big super jacked, like obviously Bart's not super jacked, but like bodybuilder that you kind of know it's unobtainable. It felt like someone that's like more connected to you. And then coming from a lot of my friends who are Asian, I'm technically Asian myself. I don't have many people that look like me or from the same region that was like that jacked. So it was cool seeing Bart and his transformation, but being a jacked like Asian guy that you typically didn't see. So through that, I was watching a lot of the fitness stuff, and I actually ended up coming across one of his powerlifting videos, his documentary, the trailer for that. So I decided to compete in my first competition based off of that video. And from that video and me signing up for my competition, it was only, I would say, about a month of powerlifting. I have been training for many years up to this point in terms of like powerlifting. I was trying to be a bodybuilder, I was trying to just look good, but I obviously didn't know anything about fitness or how to do any of the programming. I just lifted heavy, so it was inadvertently not working for bodybuilding, but somehow getting me stronger, or strong enough to actually compete. And I did a month of training and actually went to my first competition. And I'm actually from the Bay Area, so I wasn't near LA at the time. And I signed up for my first competition in LA, so I had to drive all the way down here, and it was in Corona, which is like about an hour south of Los Angeles, and it was at the UFC gym. And it was pretty cool because right when I got there, it was the first time seeing like a live powerlifting event. I obviously didn't know what I was doing, so it was cool to actually see it in person and how it was ran. Luckily, I competed on the second day, so I got to observe everything and see how it goes. And this is also where it kind of gets confusing with Bart, how he tells the story of how we met. I feel like I have a better memory than Bart does. And it also doesn't make sense in terms of what I'm about to say, which I competed on the second day, so I had to do the weigh-ins first. And I remember I was waiting in line for the weigh-ins, and then I see this tall girl, which typically at this powerlifting event, there wasn't that many girls competing, so I was like, oh, this is weird, like who's this person? And I could tell from like the fan of my eye, like she looks super familiar. And then I was like, oh shit, that's Gio. And at this point I was like a huge fan. I was super shy, I couldn't speak to anyone. This is one of the first few times I'm actually seeing someone that was recognizable or famous to me. So obviously I was freaking out. And then this person got closer and I was like, oh no, that's not Gio, like there's no way. And then she got even closer and I was like, oh shoot. And again, I'm at this point cannot speak to anyone. I'm super shy. I'm very, I wouldn't say unapproachable, but just socially awkward. But I was like, fuck it, you're never gonna get this opportunity again. So then I just said, I was like, hey, are you Gio? And she was super nice. She was like, yeah. I just shook her hand. I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. I've been watching JK for a long time. And she was like, oh, cool. And I just like, obviously this is a lot more awkward in how I was saying it, but I was like, is Bart gonna be here? Is he competing? And she was like, oh no, we're actually selling merch. And I was like, oh shoot. So she said he's gonna be here soon. So I was like, okay, cool. So I waited, went back to my seat, and then I saw him walk in. And now my whole mindset is shifted from this competition just to seeing these people that I basically grew up watching. And this was, I would say, now around 16 or 17 years of age. And then at this point, my cousin hyped me up enough to go say hi. So I walked up there, and then I just see him at the corner of the desk, and I'm like trying to wave at him, and he wasn't like paying attention. I think he was on his phone or something. And then Gio was like, yo, there's this kid who wants to meet you. Immediately gets up, stands up, I shake his hand, and again, I'm freaking out at this point, but I try to maintain it, and I just said, hi, I just want to say I'm a big fan. And I was like, are you competing? And he was like, no, I'm just like selling this merch. And I was like, oh shoot, what is this? And he goes, oh, it's like our new brand called Barbell Brigade. We're gonna open up a gym and everything. And I was like, oh shit, this is tight. I think I just bought a shirt. I didn't even know what anything was. It was the first time they ever came out with any of this stuff. I don't even think they posted about it yet. I just bought a shirt and then went back to my seat. So that's where it kind of gets confusing, because Bart's like, oh, I remember you're just this super awkward kid that just came up to me and was like, oh, I just deadlifted 500, and just stood there and basically was like looking at him for his fucking, I don't know. But luckily, I think that memory just turned into a funny memory instead of like an awkward fan story. And then fast forward, I would say like a few months later, they started posting up pictures of like the projected, like how they would want a gym to be if they did open it up. And I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. And I was like, oh damn, only if it was in like the Bay Area. And that was like my whole plan of Barbell eventually it coming to the Bay Area, because I lived there. So then I just bought the clothes. I just started rocking it every time I wore it to the gym. I literally only wore Barbell. I had like 3 shirts, and I just kept cycling it through. And then that was basically my like last interaction with them from that meet. But because I kept posting about it, I think they did see me, but they didn't really interact with me until I competed at my Junior World Championships. And at this point, there wasn't that many people competing, so it was kind of easy to see people and like comment on each other's stuff. And I remember just tagging Bart in my post. I had my barbell shirt over my shoulder, and I had all my other gold medals. And again, there wasn't that many people, so it was easy to win gold medals at that time. But he saw that, he liked it, he followed me. At this point, I remember I was at the airport freaking out because I saw he commented and like followed me back. Then from there, we just kept up the communication, because he was obviously super into powerlifting too. And we built like this friendship online. And again, this was months before the gym was even a thing, but he kept telling me, he was like, hey, I'm planning on opening up a gym, you should come out. And I think he opened it in October of 2013. And I was still too young to drive. I didn't have my driver's license. And I tried getting my brother to like drive me down there, but he couldn't because he was in school. So I was like, fuck, I couldn't do anything about it. And then fast forward from there up until January of 2014, I drove down finally, because I had my license, to their Camp Pendleton meet. And it was cool because it was first time actually talking to them. Again, I'm this super fucking awkward kid, but they made me feel like family, and I've never felt like that before in terms of meeting new people and being able to like interact and communicate with people that aren't my family or my close friends. So they immediately made me feel welcome. And I got to meet a lot of the other like members from the gym, and immediately created this like friendship and bond with them. So after the meet, I just remember coming down, literally like I would save up or get my financial aid money from college and drive down every like 2 weeks. At this point, I was only 18 years old, but I kept driving down every like week or every other 2 weeks. And literally was like, hey, they're like, you want to come down in 2 days? We're gonna do a group workout. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be there. And I would just drive down. And I was honestly there and like frequently working out there, training there. I was driving down like for workouts and staying there for like a week. And even got accustomed to all the members and knew who they were by name, that they would just leave me at the front desk, and I technically just started working from there and just started checking people in. But again, the whole point of me coming down there was just to hang out. And eventually I kept telling Bob, I was like, whenever you guys open up a spot in the Bay Area, San Jose, because they used to always do this polls of where they would want the gym next, I was like, you guys should open up there. I'll work there, I'll do whatever. Throughout our friendship, Bart did know I wanted to get into filmmaking, and that's one thing that we also connected on. So he would always talk to me about it, and then I would always come down to the gym and film like the original first Barbell Brigade videos that before the channel was even Barbell Brigade, it was just Bart Kwan. I would always film those videos. So the super old ones, not the like super high edited ones, but like the mock meets, the Santa Barbara meets, stuff like that. And then he was like, hey, if you move down here, like I'll give you a job. Like you can work the gym and we can start working on like a YouTube together. So for me, hearing that, I was like mind blown and freaking out that, again, this is someone that I was watching since I was a kid, and now becoming like somewhat of an adult or a teenager, getting offered a job to move to LA, follow my dreams, and also worked for a company that I believed in, I loved, and was literally my biggest source of happiness. Especially at the time, that was all I did was powerlift and watch these guys and communicate with other people that was in the gym. And it was cool because I was never probably ever going to interact with people like this outside the gym. So it was nice having a place that I was meeting doctors, engineers, comedians, actors, chefs, whoever of any kind of career, but having this mingling, this common ground that we all got to meet at, and just sharing our passion for fitness was the reason that we all got to hang it together and understand one of each other, because other than that we wouldn't have gotten to meet each other. So he offered me the job, and then there was the hard part of basically convincing my family that I'm gonna drop out of school and move to LA. Some of you guys might be familiar with a typical brown household, and that's kind of like a no-no. You're not even supposed to really typically move out until marriage. Luckily, my parents aren't that strict, but they're still like, no, what the fuck are you doing? You're not gonna move to LA. You're in school, you have all these things going, you can't just drop all that. But through convincing them, talking to them, pretty much just begging them, I somehow not tricked them, but got them to get on my terms of, hey, I'm gonna move to LA, I have all this stuff settled, you guys can check these people, talk to them, do whatever, see that they're legit, and once I move out here, I'll start going to school. I never ended up going to school out here, but they allowed me to move to LA, and it was honestly a dream come true. I got to work at the gym. I remember I came down even a month before to help them move from their first location to their second one, and then moved a month after that, basically on the dot. I moved here on August 23rd of 2014, and it's been over 6 years now that I've been able to work with Barbell and basically pursue my dreams of filmmaking and continue that with my passions of powerlifting. So overall, I don't know if that's a pretty cool story, but for me it was awesome just being able to connect with people that were like-minded and seeing how down to earth and really able to just generally be people of these celebrity status, of these people that I kept on a high pedestal, because again, I found them when I was a kid. Literally, I was 10 or 11 years old and was following them religiously, watching them every single day, and it was my source of entertainment at the time. And eventually working with them and getting them to tell me, hey, if you move out here, we could give you a job, was a dream come true. So I know a lot of people that were in similar situations that also found Barbell through the same means that I did, of just being a fan from the other stuff. And then a lot more people now especially is cool because they get to just see Barbell as this fitness company, which was the overall goal of creating a brand outside of another brand, is getting people just to come to this page not knowing who the hell they were and just following Barbell for just what they believe in. But that was my story on how I got hired at Barbell Brigade, and it's cool because I feel like that same path has led me down to meeting so many other people, creators, influencers, and just friends that I got to work with. And a lot of it was just me connecting with them as human beings and friends, and work came after that. So I know a lot of people also reached out on how do I get hired here. A lot of people that we do hire are just actually members that put in the effort of wanting to build a relationship and friendship. So that's one piece of advice, not only for working at Barbell, but just people that you'd want to work with in general, or even just be friends with, is just be genuine. And you never know what good comes out of being a genuine person and actually being there to just be a friend and helping someone out.